There, I'll sit.
Well, if you tell him he asks for a boat ride, he'll get up.
All right, so
Don't have to worry.
It is.
I'm gonna just talk for a couple minutes before we get
The
started.
vocal accompanist is here.
One thing that I might ask you, if you've got a
Oh,
cell phone,
cells.
if you could silence it, that would be kind of nice, okay? I appreciate that.
What do you think,
But
you're a movie
before I get
theater?
started, I just want to introduce a couple people that you guys don't know. And this is my special friend Anna and her husband Hassan, and they're from Akron. And she's this incredible monster flute player that I met, and I'm going to tell you about that in just a minute. Another person that you don't know, he's been with me a couple times over at the Yacht Club, but his name is Jim Hodge, and he's in the back warming up on trumpet. And, oh God, here he is. And Jim was the best man at my wedding 43 years ago. And
Yeah, you went to school together.
we went to school together. Actually,
College.
I will say this. He was principal trumpet in the University of Akron band. I was principal clarinet. And we terrorized the campus for 4 years. And anything with a skirt, we certainly terrorized. And then, and just real quickly,
Just so you know.
at the peak of the Vietnam War, we both went up to D.C. to audition for the 4 top military bands, and there was no openings. Period. I mean, everybody in the world was auditioning, but they had these open auditions, and the room was, of course, gigantic. It was a huge, great big band room, and we walk in with 8,452,000 trumpet players and clarinet players, and no openings. The Army band, the Pershing band in D.C. said, "We'll take you." The no openings, they want them. We go to the Air Force band. No openings. The United States Air Force Band in Washington, D.C. that plays at the White House every other day.
Washington? Where's that?
They take them. They take them. So he went to the Air Force Band to play. And he came back to Akron and got his law degree and was a practicing attorney. And
Wow.
he came down here to teach law. And our good friend Fred Hart, who just passed, Jamie's widow, and that's why we haven't seen Jamie around much lately. But he just passed 2 weeks ago, if you didn't know. But Fred and Jim worked together teaching law at Hodge University. So at any rate, but he's like me. We're getting reacquainted with the instruments again, and our interior design lady got hung up at Norse. She's on her way in a few minutes, but I want everybody to meet Mirta. She's phenomenal, and I asked her to come. And of course, the other person I got to introduce, we all know him now, but John Carney and Teresa, you know, this is the best construction company on the face of the earth. I think there's so many. I'm telling you, he's the best of the best, but he gave me a fixed price. He said, this is what the job's going to cost. This is when I can start, and this is when I can finish. Wow. And it was dead on. No up charges, no down charges. He was finished on time. And every day I got reports with pictures. Nice. I'm telling you, he's the best of the best. But he's got a full construction company. But, okay, so how did I meet Anna? Well, besides marrying Pat, probably the best thing that ever happened in my life that I ever did was start New Horizons Band. Now, how did that come about? In 1985, I was on the board of directors for our national music trade organization called the International Music Association, and it's for retailers, manufacturers, and suppliers around the world. And I was on the board of directors. And I was in charge of the school music division. I had an 8-member committee, and we had millions of dollars to give away every year, and lots of money. And we got this grant proposal from the Eastman School of Music in Rochester, New York, one of our best music schools. And they wanted $60,000 to start this concept that they were calling New Horizon. But it was designed to get older adults involved in playing a musical instrument. And we generally say 50 and over, but it fit our mission statement like a glove. So the one stipulation is any organization could use it as a model to start another one. And today there's about 300 in the United States. There's one here in Naples, it's small, but it's here. We started one, I started it 20 years ago in Akron, and we were up to about 170 musicians, older adults that always wanted to learn to play. And we have 4 retired music educators that teach twice a week for a couple of hours, and it's absolutely incredible. And one day, 2 years ago, approximately, Anna comes walking in, and I heard her play the flute for 2 seconds, and I said, "Oh, Anna, this is not for you." She said, "Well, maybe I'll learn something else." And so now she's an aspiring tuba player and a flute player. And it's one of the best things I've ever done. It is a 501c3 nonprofit group. If you ever want to make a donation, we're always looking for donations. But it's probably the best thing that I've ever done in my life, and I feel good about teaching older adults. And so at any rate, that's all I want to say right this second. Anna's going to introduce her tune that she's going to play, and I'm going to part my ways here.
Okay, and I've been playing flute since 5th grade, and I'd like to thank my mom, who's on FaceTime video watching right now, for driving me to lessons.
Oh, nice.
We lived in southern Indiana, and she drove me every day, or every week, to Terre Haute to take lessons, so I think that really helped my progression. Then I started as a music major and switched to pre-med.
She's
You're a physician.
one of our.
I'm a physician. I'm not a professional musician.
And she's a medical doctor in Cleveland. She's a general internist, and she works at the VA hospital in Cleveland in the emergency room. Isn't that great? It is.
Okay, so the piece I'm playing today is Syrinx. It's a piece for solo flute with no piano accompaniment. It's a piece of music written by Debussy in 1913. It was written as part of an incidental music to a play by Gabriel Moret and was originally called Flute de Pan. It was given its final name in reference to the myth of the amorous pursuit of the nymph Syrinx by the god Pan, in which Pan falls in love with Syrinx. She does not return the love and turns herself into a water reed and hides in the marshes. In his anger, he cuts the reeds to make his pan flute, killing his love. So, that's what the piece is about.
What a story.
Yeah, tragedy.
good friend, Jim Hodge, and I'm gonna let him introduce the piece that he wrote for us.
He's always in there. Well, when I moved down here 33 years ago, and Stahl is a recent addition. But when he came down, I promised him that we played two very different instruments. I play trumpet, which has a whole different sound and a different characteristic than clarinet. We are oil and water. So you can't go out and find any music written for clarinet and trumpet. They don't exist. And so I promised him that I would look around and see if I could find something. We were just going to play around with it. It's for fun. Anyway, I came up with a piece from Dvorak's New World Symphony. Some of you may not know that. It was written by Dvorak back around the turn of the century when he was living in America as opposed to Eastern Europe. And it's said to have been a Negro spiritual. It is not. It was an original composition by Dvorak, but it's been adapted into numerous types of genres. To people sing it. It's been translated into several different languages, but it was originally an instrumental. So let's give it a shot, Stahl, and see what we come up with here.
And he wrote this last summer, and we didn't have a chance to even look at it until this in the last week. And I think it came out really marvelous in arrangement. And I hope you enjoy it.
It's short.
Yeah. So this is, it's the Largo from the New World Symphony.
I couldn't stand to listen to it too long.
No, fine name.
military children.
Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna swab this out for a second. The next tune that I'm going to play for you is a lot like what Anna did. It's just an unaccompanied clarinet solo. And it has kind of, it's very, very, very expressive. You can take a lot of liberties when you perform this. And it's written in the key of D minor, so it's kind of have a haunting feel to it. You know? And, kind of a song. What's that?
It's a funeral song.
It kind of almost is, but it's very, very, very expressive, and I hope you enjoy it. Now I gotta find it. I chose it uses the entire 3 octaves of the clarinet, which you don't often hear. So that's another reason I chose it. So the next tune, I'll let you get this up, and I'll talk through it. We're doing sheep.
Let's do sheep.
So we're doing a very famous little aria from the great J.S. Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach. And this tune is from a cantata, which he wrote in 1713. And what is a cantata? You know, I want to explain this because I think it's important because it terrorized me for a year and a half in grad school. And but a cantata, Bach probably wrote about 300 cantatas that have survived today. And a cantata is sacred. It's certainly a religious text, and it was used in his church in Leipzig, where he spent most of his career. And there wasn't that much written in the late 1600s, for religious music like this. And so his job was to compose music and perform it. And so he wrote these cantatas. A cantata is normally about 25, 30, 40 minutes long, and it calls for a full choir, a full orchestra, and generally 4 solo voices, a soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. And and you would have a lot of different things going on, but usually there was a number of arias that would feature the soprano or the tenor or the bass or whatever. And so this is from the cantata number 208. And you're probably saying, well, John, why do you know so much about cantatas? Well, in graduate school, I went to the Cleveland Institute of Music, and I had a deficiency in this area, and so I had to take this class until I finally passed it. It was pass-fail, and it took me a year and a half. And it was every Friday for an hour, I took this class with about 15 other people, and what she would do is you would go to the library that she had in there, and she'd say, pull out volume 23, okay? The big, thick, huge volume. You'd pull it out, and you'd sit at the piano, and she would say, turn to page 25, and it would be an aria, alto, tenor, bass, or soprano, whatever, and she would say, now sing it. And as you're singing it, with no accompaniment at all, as you're singing it, she would stop you from periodically and ask you to analyze it. Like, what chord progression is that? What non-harmonic tone? Is that a suspension, a appoggiatura, a passing tone? You had to analyze it right on the spot, and that's, well, at any rate, I was in there for a year and a half. I really don't think she liked me, and I didn't take the class very seriously, honestly. I did not take it very seriously. But this particular tune is called Sheep May Safely Graze, and again, it was written in 1713 as part of his cantata number 208, and it's pretty famous. It's still played a lot today, especially weddings and funerals and things. So at any rate, somebody wrote an arrangement for flute and clarinet, and Anna said, let's play it, so we're gonna play it. So now you know everything I know about cantatas. I have to, Merita just got here. This is the most incredible designer. I've asked her to bring business cards. I'm so thrilled by this lady. She had to come today, but she did the entire time.
Yay.
Okay, are you ready, my friend? is a little bit of an endurance tester. Anna is going to do a 10-minute dissertation right now on the next tune.
Zalowski?
Yeah, can't you do 10 minutes about it?
No.
I thought it was gonna be a
Polish
medical
composer.
dissertation.
By the way, when we get finished here, Pat has got some little hors d'oeuvres and snacks over there you can munch on a little bit. And so if I don't do this, a little bit of condensation gets in the tone holes and then you get a fuzzy sound.
Jim, I thought you were doing dinner tonight.
Okay, so this is, am I talking about this guy?
Sure.
Okay, what's the guy's name?
I think Anna wants to.
Zalowski?
Zalowski. He was a Polish composer, probably around 1920. He won a lot of awards, and I never heard of him, but we found this duet, and we're going to play this duet for you. It's very, very, very contemporary, what we call passing tones, non-harmonic tones, to say the least. But no, it's quite contemporary.
It's got no real scale to it, it's just a bunch of accidentals, so if there's an accident, don't worry about it. No, seriously. Okay.
I don't know what that means.
We're starting with
We won't notice it.
exactly. Movement number 2, which is a slow piece.
You see it? We weren't gonna play this, and Anna yesterday said, well, let's play it.
I really didn't have a lot of time to practice.
But at any rate, it's fun, it's exciting, but this is another movement of it. And, but it moves quite along and has some rather, the biggest challenge is the page turns in it. So we have to set this up exactly right.
There's 5 pages, and there's no good spot to turn a
No,
page.
we can't turn a page. So,
So we just have to turn our bodies. I can't see.
tilt the stage just a little bit.
Okay.
Can you bring that a little closer, please? Stick right there, stick right there. Okay. You see her?
No.
Somebody's got to hog all the sheets.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's just do this. Okay. You see all right? Well, now for the finale. I'm gonna let Anna talk about this one. Hey, watch it.
Who did that? Who did that?
State attorney, what would you expect from him?
Do we have any drummers in here?
Oh!
Good, I'm glad, because I need a drummer for this piece.
Oh, wow.
I think he knew that.
Now, this is gonna be a fun piece. I just found it randomly on YouTube, and it's a piece called Fantasia Arabesque by a Dutch American. So,
Who was that?
Herman Beeftink. Herman Beeftink. And it's a fun piece.
Phil, don't screw.
Well, yeah. We've only run through it a couple times, so we'll see what happens.
If you're all familiar with Scheherazade by Nikolai Andreyevich Rimsky-Korsakov, this is
this is like one of the tales from the Arabian Nights. It's got that kind of aura to it. It's really a beautiful piece.
Give it a
Right?
10.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we start?
Yeah, we should start. Okay. Oh, it's not
The tambourine
the,
and
the,
then
the weather's got to it.
the tambourine and then the chimes.
Okay. You ready?
Bravo.
There's gotta be an encore.
Encore. We want more. We want more.
Well done.
More.
It doesn't look like it's gonna happen.
No.
That was very nice, huh?